Morning, sir. Now our team gonna talk about the case 5, MV Empress changed the maritime landscape. Now I gotta talk about the introduction. On February 15, 1996, the oil tanker MV Empress ran aground near the entrance to Milford Haven due to a strong tidal currents and navigational error. The ship was carrying about 130,000 tons of crude oil and approximately 72,000 tons spilled into the sea. This incident became one of the UK's worst maritime environmental disaster, polluting over 200 kilometers of coastline and harming wildlife, fisheries, and protected areas. Now I'm going to talk about the safety management of ship operation. The first is the inadequate risk assessment and voyage planning. The Sea Empress attempted to enter the Milford Haven during a challenging tidal window, presenting significant navigational difficulties. Voyage planners failed to fully account for strong tidal currents, narrow channels, and the maneuvering limits of the fully loaded single-hull tanker. A more thorough risk assessment might have led to delaying entry or arranging additional support. Furthermore, poor coordination between the vessel and the port authorities result in increasing the risk of grounding. The next is the pilotage system weakness. Although a qualified pilot was on board, communication with the crew was ineffective. Rather than collaborative decision making, navigation relied largely on the pilot personal judgment. The absence of a structured, team-based bridge management system means high-risk decisions went unchallenged. This breakdown in communication and shared responsibility hindered effective response when the situation turned critical. The third is the tug and system mismanagement. The tugboats assigned to assist the Sea Empress were inadequate in both power and number. A fully loaded tanker in strong tidal conditions required robust, coordinated tug support, yet no contingency plan existed for emergency intervention. In addition, poor coordination between the bridge and the tug crews led to delayed and unsynchronized responses, further weakening the effectiveness of the support. Now I'm gonna pass to the next presenter, Jinsen.
Thank you, Chong Kai. My name is Wong Junsen. Good morning to sir. So I'm going to talk about the protection of the human life. So the grounding of the ship near the Milford Haven, the first priority was to keep the crew and also the responders safely. So since the vessel was close to the shore, the offloading oil to land was considered, but it was too dangerous due to the fire risk and also the unstable sea condition. So the team focused on the containment. Let's look at the marine environmental protection. So the booms were placed around beach and also the estuaries to stop the oil from splitting, but the wave and the tides reduced their effectiveness. So this picture shows which is the bombs. And they're also using the dispersion was spray from the plant to break up the oil at the sea. They work offshore and eat near the coast. They pose the risk to the marine life, like shellfish. So their use was limited in those areas. The second marine environmental protection is the cleanup team use both manual and the mechanical method to remove the oil, but impactly they affect the areas. For example, the sand was even replaced. So the video is show how they clean out the affected bird.
Among the oil's first casualties is this duck. It's been lucky, but the local rescue centre says that if the number of oil birds reaches as expected hundreds or thousands, they'll have to send them to the RSPCA in Somerset. We've only got 2 washing stations.
So, however, some cleanup method cause damage to the habitat, like the high pressure host organism. So, to protect the health and the food supply, the fishing and the shellfish collection were banned in a so to avoid the item or those product access and entry to the market. So let's look at the contingency planning. So the spill showed that the current response plans were weak. The coordination between the agency and access to the emergency tools were not well prepared. So the UK later improved its contingency plan, focused on the protect those sensitive habitat first and also create the clear step for the emergency response. So let's look at how they manage the risk. So first is the environmental risk management. So after the spill, both national and the port level plan were updated. The real-time risk assessment were added, and also along with the map of the sensitive area and also easy access to the equipment like bombs. So in the long-term monitoring also carried out by the Sea Empress Environmental Evaluation Committee, so which we call the SEEC, and also the CHIFAS, and it tracking the real life recovering and also the oil in the sediment. So the UK also focus more on the prevention, making the piratage mentally in the high risk port and also promote the double hull tankers and also increase the ship inspection under the Marble NSE. Let's go through with the financial risk management. The spills show the compensation system like the IOPC fund were not enough for the environmental damage. So this lead to the discussion at the International Maritime Operation to expand the compensation limit. The shipping company was required to carry the stronger insurance and prove they could cover the clean-out costs. And the UK also worked more with the international partner like the EU and also the bond agreement to improve the shared response system. Last part for me is the human life risk management. The UK reviewed the crew training, the navigation system, and the port entry rules. They're using the electronic chart display and informational system to improve the communication between the pilot and the shipmaster. So it also helped to the future grounding. And they also improve the emergency tools and the stockpiles. For example, their personal protective equipment, their bombs, their medical supplies, and they design a place which called the place of the refuge for the damaged ship. And the communities will teach how to respond to the spill and environmental topic will also add in the school. So that's all for my part. I will pass to the Chong Kai. Thank you.
Thank you, Jinsen. Now I'm going to talk about a recommendation to avoid future accidents. First is an improvement in ship safety regulation. The Sea Empress incident exposed weakness in enforcing international maritime safety standards. To prevent similar accidents, the strict adherence to the IMO ISM code is essential, requiring robust onboard safety procedure. Risk assessment must precede tanker entry into ports, particularly in sensitive or confined waters. Mandatory tug escorts should be enforced, with clear standards for their power and coordinations. Regular audits are also need to ensure compliance by shipping companies. The next is the enhanced crew training and certification. Well-trained crew are vital for ship safety. Modern training should incorporate simulation-based exercise that mimic real emergency, such as sudden groundings or tug coordination failure. Certification program must also cover the communication under stress and rapid decision-making. Bridge officer, pilots, and captains should train together through our Bridge Resources Management, which is BRM program, to build the effective teamwork under pressure. The last is the technological advancement for prevention. Technology plays a key role in preventing incidents like the Sea Empress grounding. Real-time tide and current monitoring enhance situational awareness, while predictive collision avoidance system alerts crew to potential hazard. Coordination platform improve efficiency between the ship and tugboats, and automated sensors continuously monitor hull integrity, enabling early detection of damage. Thank you, sir. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.